Welcome once again to Law and Order Counseling Session. I'm back again, Sir Joshua Masungwin. In brief, we'll talk much about boundaries in marriage because it's something that is not considered, it's something that is not realized, or it's something that is not known as such. Now, let us start from the beginning so that it reminds us about what we are talking about. Marriage was given unto human race by God. It provides the best context in which the fulfillment of human purpose in building a home and raising up a posterity is realized. It is an ordinance of the creation. Now, in marriage, there are boundaries. And then, what is a boundary or what are boundaries? A boundary is defined as walls or barriers. This may be the borders that drive evil away or stop bad things to happen to harm us. Boundaries are anything that defines who I am and who I'm not. Now, one cannot enjoy the full benefit of marriage without learning how to set healthy boundaries. What does this mean? In marriage, a husband should maintain the status of being a husband. Now, if he does or if he behaves like a wife, already he's gone out of his boundaries. Same applies to a wife. Should also live in the confinement of being a wife. Now, if again she does what a husband should do, or she behaves in the manner a husband behaves, is already out of her boundaries. Now, this scope should be maintained, or this boundary scope should be well maintained for a healthy marriage. Let's go to the to the symptoms of marriage without boundaries. A marriage without boundary is a marriage that does not observe the principles of living and cleaving. If living and cleaving, because the Bible says that the wife or the husband should leave the family and cleave to his wife. And if this one is not applicable in marriage, there is a boundary problem. Also, dependence syndrome. Now, if a spouse depends on his family for financial support, for general management of oneself, it means that there is a boundary problem. Because him or her, or in marriage, there should be self-financial support. The couple should support themselves financially. Should also know how to manage themselves. Being a child forever. Remember, when you are married, it means that you are matured to handle marriage issues or marriage affairs. But now, if you forget that you are matured and then you maintain a childhood lifestyle, that everything depends on the parents or everything depends on the seniors, that's what we call being a child forever. There is a competitive and comparison spirit. Now, for boundaries to be well maintained in marriage, the competitive spirit or a comparison spirit should be dealt with. In other words, there should be no competition, there should be no comparison. Because if a spouse always compare his spouse or his spouse to another person or to other people, that is, it shows a boundary problem. Lack of self-control in marriage. Especially when finance is being managed, when also the concept of speaking or the concept of speech is being managed. Some couples or some spouses, they don't know how to speak. They don't know how to manage finance. But there should be boundaries in as far as these are managed. And the blame game. When you read in the book of Proverbs 25 verse 28, it talks about spouses that blame. But there should be someone or a spouse should admit his or her mistakes and ask for forgiveness and also ready to repent. Again, when you go to the roles and responsibilities of spouses, we can find it in Ephesians 5, verse 22 to 25. These scriptures give the fundamental principle of marriage, love, and submission. Thus, the wife needs love, and the husband's ego does not allow room for disrespect. Therefore, violating the boundary of love and submission creates a formula for disaster in marriage.